If your garden is hitting a wall this August, don't panic yet. I know exactly what you're looking at right now. Crispy leaves, faded zinnias, and plants that look like they're ready to throw in the towel. Most gardeners see this and think, well, that's it for the year. They start thinking about pulling plants out or heading to the nursery to drop $100 on fresh mums. But wait, what if I told you that you are sitting on a goldmine of untapped blooms right now? I'm going to show you a $0 secret, no chemicals, no store-bought fertilizers, that I used in my own backyard to dramatically increase my fall branching and flowers. We aren't just trying to keep these plants alive. We are triggering a tactical second spring. I did this on my own perennials last year, and the results were so impressive. My neighbors thought I'd replanted the whole yard overnight. But a quick warning, this trick does not work on every flower. Near the end of this video, I'll show you exactly which plants respond best and which ones you should never pinch in August. Your best garden of the year doesn't end in August. It starts right here, right now. To understand why this works, we have to look at what's happening inside your plants. There's a common belief that August is just a resting month, but actually, your plants are often in survival mode. In the plant world, survival means one thing: seed production. Once a flower fades and you leave it alone, the plant sends a signal saying, a job's done. We've secured the next generation. Shut down the flower factory. It stops sending energy to new blooms and focuses entirely on those seeds. Here's the part many gardeners overlook: heavy fertilizer is often less effective during extreme heat. When it's 95 or 100 degrees, a plant's metabolism slows down to protect itself. It's like trying to eat a heavy 3-course meal while running a marathon in the desert. The real secret is shifting the plant back into active growth mode. Every branch has a leader, the tip at the top. As long as that tired, crunchy flower sits there, it produces a hormone that tells all the lower buds to stay asleep. By removing that bossy manager tip, we release different growth hormones that have been suppressed. We are essentially giving the plant a fresh signal to start branching out again. All right, let's get into the how-to. I call this the $0 pulse pinch. You don't need loppers or fancy shears, just your thumb and forefinger. Look at this stem. Most people deadhead by just snipping the brown flower. That's okay, but it's not the hack. To maximize your fall display, you need to go deeper. Follow the stem down, past the spent flower, past the first set of small leaves, until you find the first strong node where 2 leaves are branching out. When you pinch right above that node, you end the hormone suppression. Within a few days, those 2 dormant buds at the node will wake up. Instead of one single flower spike, you now have the potential for 2 brand new branches. Do this across the whole plant, and you can significantly increase the number of flowering stems for September. Now, I can hear you, but I'm cutting off the last 3 flowers I have. My garden will look bare. I get it. My first year, my hand was literally shaking over my mums. But you have to use investment logic. Think of those few tired flowers as a small entry fee. You are trading 3 mediocre blooms today for 30 or 40 fresh ones in a few weeks. I've done this on everything from zinnias to sages. By the way, I want to know, are you a clean gardener who deadheads every day, or do you usually let your garden go wild? Drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your style. While we're talking about $0 hacks, we have to look under the ground. By August, soil often becomes compacted like concrete from the cycle of heavy watering and intense sun. Compacted soil makes it harder for roots to breathe. This is where vertical air chimneys come in. Grab a chopstick, a screwdriver, or a sturdy stick. Go to the drip line of your plant. That's the circle where the outer leaves end. Poke holes 4 to 6 inches deep all around the plant. Don't poke right against the main stem to avoid damaging the anchor roots. These holes improve oxygen movement into the root zone. It signals to the plant that conditions are improving, which helps break that heat-induced stall. It takes 10 seconds, costs nothing, and is often the missing piece to a successful fall recovery. Now, if you are in Texas, Arizona, or the Deep South, listen closely. When your soil temperature hits triple digits, your plant is under extreme stress. The secret here is pre-hydration. You should deep water your plants a full 24 hours before you perform the pulse pinch. This builds up internal turgor pressure, so the plant can handle the stress of the cut. Also, avoid pinching in the morning. If you cut then, the wound is exposed to the harshest sun immediately. Only do this in the late evening. This gives the plant a cool, 8-hour window to seal that cut. In desert zones, this can make the difference between a stressed plant and a successful recovery. So, what's the timeline? Day 1, your plant looks a little bare. Day 10, you'll typically see new green shoots pushing out. Week 3 to 4, this is when many gardeners begin seeing a flush of new blooms, depending on the plant and your local weather. Now, as promised, here is the who's who of the pulse pinch. This works best on zinnias, salvias, marigolds, coleus, and chrysanthemums. However, be very careful or avoid pinching hydrangeas, where you might cut off next year's buds. Coneflowers or echinacea that are already setting their final buds, and any spring flowering shrubs. And for those who stayed until the end, here is your bonus tip. The morning after you pinch, give the foliage a very light misting. In dry air, this helps the new growth buds stay soft. But if you're in a high humidity area, skip this to avoid any fungal issues. Gardening isn't about how much money you spend, it's about understanding the language of your plants. This $0 hack is proof that nature has the tools you need. You just have to know where to pinch. Drop your USDA zone in the comments, and I'll try to let you know if you still have time to try this in your area. And if you want to see how I use this same logic for a second harvest of tomatoes, let me know if you want part 2. Don't let the August heat win. I'm Gardening Story, and I'll see you in the next one. Happy gardening!